right, be seated. My understanding is you all have reached a verdict. Is that right?
Yes.
If you would hand the verdict form to the bailiff for me. Thank you. All right, the verdict form is in order. If you would publish the verdict and poll the jury, please.
Yes, ma'am. State of Florida versus Jermaine Bass. Case number 22 CF 011717A. Trial Division 3. Verdict form. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1, murder in the first degree. The defendant is guilty of murder in the first degree, Jayla Bass, as charged. And during the commission of the offense, did the defendant personally carry, display, use, threaten, or attempt to use any weapon or firearm? Yes. Did the defendant actually possess a firearm? Yes. Did the defendant discharge the firearm? Yes. Did the discharge cause death of the victim? Yes. 12 of the 12 of us find the killing was premeditated murder. 12 of the 12 of us find the killing was premeditated murder and felony murder. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 2, aggravated child abuse. The defendant is guilty of aggravated child abuse as charged. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 3, aggravated child abuse. Jermaine J.J. Bass. The defendant is guilty of aggravated child abuse as charged. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 4, attempted murder in the first degree. Jermaine J.J. Bass. The defendant is guilty of attempted murder in the first degree. Jermaine J.J. Bass as charged. And during the commission of the offense, did the defendant personally carry, display, use, threaten, or attempt to use any weapon or firearm? Yes. Did the defendant actually possess a firearm? Yes. Did the defendant discharge the firearm? Yes. Did the discharge cause great bodily harm to the victim? Yes. So say we all, dated this 27th day of February, 2025, juror number 1, foreperson of the jury. Juror number 1, are these your true and correct verdicts?
They are.
Juror number 2, are these your true and correct verdicts?
They are.
Juror number 3, are these your true and correct verdicts? Juror number 4, are these your true and correct verdicts?
They are.
Juror number 5, are these your true and correct verdicts?
They are.
Juror number 6, are these your true and correct verdicts?
They are.
Juror number 8, are these your true and correct verdicts?
They are.
Juror number 9, are these your true and correct verdicts?
They are.
Juror number 10, are these your true and correct verdicts?
They are.
Juror number 12, are these your true and correct verdicts?
They are.
Juror number 14, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Thank you. I can't see.
You missed
I
one.
can't.
I was 12. You missed
You missed 11.
11, excuse me. Juror number 11, are these your true and correct verdicts?
one. Yes, they are.
Thank you.
And juror number 12, are these your true and correct verdicts?
I can't see.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know that you have spent a considerable amount of time and effort today deliberating on this case, and I cannot thank you enough for that, as well as your patience and with us and hard work all week. As you've now seen, it is why we need people like you who respond down with a jury service summons to handle the cases and the disputes that the parties cannot resolve among themselves. So you are essential and a true backbone to our system of justice, and I cannot tell you how much you are appreciated by me personally as well as all of the judges here in Tampa, Hillsborough County. That much being said, all of my constant admonitions about not talking about the case are obviously lifted. You can do as much speaking about the case as you would like to, or discussion or investigation or whatever you'd like to know in addition to what you've heard during the course of this trial. I do hope if you share your trial experience with others, it does have a somewhat positive spin, so that when they get a jury service summons, they too will come down to the courthouse, as you all have this week, to serve the citizens of Hillsborough as you all have. I spent a considerable amount of time as a trial lawyer before I became a judge. I loved to talk to jurors after cases to see how the presentation went and what questions jurors had or didn't have, or just talk about deliberations in general. That option is open to you. Of course, you're not required to do that, but if you wanted to talk to any of the lawyers, or if you have any feedback for me, let the bailiffs know, and they'll tell you not only you have my contact information, you're welcome to get back in contact with me, or if you want to come back in and speak to any of the lawyers about their cases, you're welcome to do that as well. But officially, your jury service is concluded with the thanks of both parties and with the thanks of all of my colleagues, the judges here in Tampa, Florida. So thank you very much for your service. Maybe we will see you down here next time you get a jury service summons, but thank you for all of your efforts this week. Have a great rest of your week and weekend.
All rise.
Any reason not to proceed with sentencing at this time?
Well, Judge, yes, we'll be filing motions, and also there would need to be a score sheet for the other counts, so I would request sentencing be set off.
All right,
And I also need to discuss then very briefly as well with Mr. Bass about a PSI.
all right, sure.
That's fine, Judge. I had not prepared a score sheet. Obviously, I didn't know what the verdict would be or what, if it could be lesser, so I just didn't have anything prepared. But and I know, Judge, in speaking with the family, I believe at least one of them would like to say something. So I know if we can just maybe have another date.
All right.
About that.
In case this affects either side's sentencing request. This will be my last jury trial. I am retiring effective in a couple of weeks for another opportunity that I have to go into private practice that I'm going to take up. So I won't be the sentencing judge if you want to defer it. But I know that any replacement would be reading the trial transcript as well as familiarizing himself with the testimony that's being conducted. So if that weighs into your decision making about whether or not you want to proceed today, just take that into consideration in telling me what your preference is.
Can we do it before you leave, Judge? Or before your last day on the bench?
We do, yes, and we're waiving PSI, Judge. I have discussed that with Mr. Bass.
All right.
I could have the score sheet ready by next week for sure. Even potentially by tomorrow if need be.
I'm not-
Oh, you're going to be tomorrow. Okay.
You're what? Can't do it tomorrow?
But I definitely by next week I can have if you have a date next week, I can go ahead and have a score sheet ready and we can proceed with sentencing.
Can you do it on Monday?
I do have open time next week, but I would need time to do motions. Wednesday? What do you have on maybe Wednesday?
Well, if we had proceeded to sentencing anyway, you can always file the motions after that.
That's true. That's Judge.
Good.
Monday's fine with the state.
The only problem is I think we definitely want you to be able to hear both, just because you heard the trial. And any post-trial motions that we file are gonna be more complicated if someone's then gonna have to get the trial transcript and review it, you know what I mean?
Do you have time Wednesday? Or Thursday afternoon? I know we have the morning in here with you, or Friday. Is that possible?
Approach the bench for a minute.
Court's
All right,
adjourned.
all right.
Go to the courtroom, please.